welcome once again to this week's Fixing Football podcast. I'm your host, Martin Naylor, and this week I am joined as always by Liam O'Meara and Luke Foley. This week, with it being international break, we decided to talk about all things England, from Southgate's squad selection to the build-up of fixtures and how we can maybe make that better for the future. Thank you everyone who's been listening so far and continuing to like and share and follow us all over social media. For all those wanting to do so, you can find everything at fixingfootballpodcast.com. There you'll be able to find all our links to social media, everything on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, wherever you want to find us, you'll find it there. We much appreciate it, but let's get straight into the episode. Hello boys, how are we? Liam, how are we going, mate?
Very good, Martin. How's it going? You okay?
Very good, pal, very good. Luke, how are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Quite hot, but not too bad.
Coming to the end of a nice little heat wave here. So we're in the middle of international break. We've not got much to talk about club-wise. Transfer window's all done and dusted. Everyone's gone where they're going. So we've got some international stuff to talk about. I thought we'd crack on with a bit of England chat. First of all, so we've just had as we're recording this, we've just had the game versus Ukraine in Poland. Luke, what did you make of that? And I want to know what you think about the squad going into that. Just talk to me about what you think about Southgate selections.
There's a lot to go out there, Martin, to be honest.
Let's start with the squad.
I think Southgate's, again, he's chosen his favourites. I don't know how Maguire gets in this team. Henderson's a big question mark as well. Liam keeps stating to me that this is the team that can go all the way, but he said that 3 times. So I think that obviously the squad's good. I think centre-backs, there's still a question mark about it, but I think this favouritism is going to be the downfall again.
Liam, tell me why the 2 that Luke mentioned and anyone else who sort of falls into that category, why are they in the squad still?
Southgate trusts them. It's not club football. It's international football. And Southgate clearly trusts these players to do the job that he wants for them. I must admit, I do find the Calvin Phillips one strange. But England aren't blessed with an abundance of defensive midfielders that play that deeply. And so that's the one that really sticks out of me. The Maguire one, I do get. I know Luke's coming at it from a United perspective, and every time he hears a name, just wants to boo at him because he's stopping them signing all these extra players that United want to sign to compete. And it's his fault only. So I appreciate Luke's credit from that perspective. I don't like Maguire. I don't think he should be in the squad. But that's why Southgate's picking these players, because it's his team. He trusts them. And he has had quite a lot of success as England manager. So he's keeping that team together.
To me, and I want to ask you, Liam, does it seem like certain positions are there to be fought for, and certain positions in the squad, not necessarily the starting 11, and certain positions are taken up by favourites, as maybe some would put it?
Give me an example of what you...
I'd argue for someone like on the left wing. So you've got Sterling, who's dropped out recently. I'm not saying his form's been great, but Sterling's been as much of a staple as Maguire for a long time. I'd say the number 10 position, but we saw Maddison in this weekend. Do you think them positions are more up for grabs than, say, an extra centre-back who we could bring in because Maguire's taking up that spot, because he does the job for Southgate?
Maybe. What to say about the left wing position is it was Maddison who played there against Ukraine over Marcus Rashford. It was nice of him to turn up for England duty this time, to be fair to him. So that was good. There was a lot of people that were calling for Grealish to start in that position, but Sterling's probably in the best form he's been in 3 or 4 years and isn't in the squad. I think that's unfair. I think you look at the Maguire one, you can make that case a little bit. But I think England don't have any, what I would call, even good centre-backs. I know there's a lot of talk about John Stones, but I think he's blessed with the team that he's in. I think he's been exposed at England plenty of times. I don't think England are blessed at centre-back, and I think Maguire could easily be dislodged if that changes.
We get the hashtag promote Rob Holding trending. because I think he's now he's at Palace and he gets a run of games. He should be getting in instead of Maguire, but he didn't cost 80 million, as Wenger said. Luke, who do you think should be in the squad who isn't? Who's missed out and why?
To be honest, I'm quite happy with the squad. It's just it's the players that we're bringing in, and I love how Trent's been shoehorned into midfield.
Well, he was listed as a midfielder in the squad.
Yeah, I'm agree with Liam. I think centre back's the worrying spot, and I don't think we have any world class centre backs. I think that's what can we do? What
position is the reason we didn't beat France, basically, because Giroud, who is a very good, very experienced international striker, got between two centre backs, whereas other countries that have a world class centre back, that doesn't happen to. So when you talk about this idea of they're not winning anything, that's that kind of margin, and there's nothing really we can do about that.
Just on that, when you was talking about his, the Sterling situation, was it the last was it World Cup where his house got burgled? He went back and then
years
he was
ago.
in. And then he was back. He was back in. He was back in the squad for the France game in front of Rashford after he scored 2 goals in the game before. So he clearly has his favourites.
No, obviously. Or does he not think that what this thing is with England managers? It's always favourites or yes men. It's never he thinks that he's better than him. And there's always a different language around England manager, and I just don't kind of get it. Like, why still in his service? He's not in the squad now, Lee. So where's the evidence of that?
The evidence is Maguire, Henderson. That is obviously that proves a point. He has favourites. There's no reason why Maguire should be even on the pitch. Why don't he just try out the other centre backs?
He probably thinks that Maguire's the best option to win football matches.
Did you watch the game?
Yeah,
because he was at Maguire was. What was he doing for that first goal? He had all of.
I think 4 or 5 different things have happened before the ball lands at Zinchenko's feet. I think you're kind of showing here a little bit that you're not Andre Onana now looking to blame Maguire when he's not even involved. Like, yes, he probably went too close to the other centre back, but if Zinchenko didn't hit it, then Mudryk does. The issue with that goal was probably losing the ball higher at the pitch. Was that Bellingham off the top of my head? But even then.
They broke in between Rice and Bellingham. I think the media were looking for any misstep from Maguire to be highlighted in that whole process. It started further up. They broke. It was a good, decent team goal that anyone could have been taken apart with. And I think that the Maguire being highlighted on it shows the pending storyline against him, the continuous doom every time he's picked. So I'm trying to think if there's anyone who sort of should have been in the squad who wasn't, who's a glaring omission. But I don't think there was.
The two that I saw talked about a lot in the media were Sterling, that we've mentioned, and Ward-Prowse was mentioned quite a lot. But then we've talked about Ward-Prowse a lot privately before World Cups and Euros, and all of us pretty much agreed that he's not England quality centre midfielder. You're picking him for set pieces, and that's just not really how football works. It's not rugby where you have specialisms. He's not better than Bellingham he's not better than Henderson. He's not better than Calvin Phillips, even though Calvin Phillips isn't getting a game at City. So does he get in on the merit that he's playing well at West Ham, even though he's not as good as other options? That's always the question, I think, when it comes to England.
Can I ask? So we've got a friendly coming up after this now, and it's worth us. We might want to call this a meaningless friendly, Luke, but I want to talk about squad selection still for a minute. Should these be the matches where we're trying to load new stuff out? Should we be focusing on new people coming through in these matches rather than continuing to solidify certain positions?
Well, he's done this before with Tony, obviously bringing him in the squad to even play him. I think it's a case where if it's a friendly, you need to try out new things, new players, new positions, new formations. What's it matter? It's a friendly.
We can't argue that we're going through the most successful period, certainly in our lifetimes, in the last 33 years. This is probably the closest England have ever come to having a winning squad. Euro 96 aside, where we got near the top. So it's hard to argue with what Southgate's been doing, but there's still a lot of criticism from the people who know best, the fans. Luke, what is Southgate doing so wrong? Why is he not picking the people why is there still some drama around Southgate's selections?
In my opinion, I just think he's run his course now. I think he's had 3 tournaments. I think he's done spectacular. He's brought that good feeling back in the squad. We seem to be making to the final stages of tournaments, but I think he's just run his course. I think we should just be maybe looking out there for a new manager who can. In fact, I read a good article today in The Athletic about, is there a worry that we are getting to a point where the big name players, so your Hurricanes, you've gone to Munich now, so he's going to be winning things. You got your Jude Bellingham at Real Madrid. You got obviously Declan Rice coming to Arsenal trying to win things.
Massive club.
Well, I think, is he going to be able to handle that kind of change of, I suppose, the players now, like taking the next level up to go and like maybe potentially winning trophies? Again, I think Southgate's done a really good job. He's got that that good feeling back with the squad. But I think to take it to that next step and maybe win a trophy, maybe we should be looking somewhere else.
Who? Let me just run you down the list of what Sky Bet are saying as Sky Bet, our future favourite sponsors of the podcast, what they're currently saying. So favourite to take over Southgate is Graham Potter. Then you've got Eddie Howe and Lee Carsley. Potter and Carsley both done well in England setups previously. Lee Carsley obviously winning with the under-21s recently. Potter, I think, was the under-17s World Cup, I think, a few years ago. And then you've got Pep Guardiola and Serena Wiegman both on 10-1. And then you go into Steve Cooper, Steven Gerrard, Pochettino, Tuchel, Brendan Rodgers. I mean, Liam, is there anyone there you think is the obvious choice?
I don't think Lee Carsley will be available by that point. I'm anticipating that tonight on Sunday, Ireland will lose against the Netherlands, pretty much ending their chances of qualifying, sacking Stephen Kenny and going straight for Lee Carsley, Irish international. I think that's... Now, whether he takes it or not is up to him, but I imagine he probably would, especially when you've got people like Evan Ferguson starting to come through. It's quite a decent opportunity, I think, to make things happen. In terms of anyone who jumps off the page there, no, not particularly. I mean, what do we want from an England manager? Because I look at Graham Potter and I think that's someone who imposes a style of play, gets it. Is he a tournament manager? What is a tournament manager? I don't know what an England manager looks like. And
for me, let me interrupt. Yeah, what Southgate's done has changed my perception of what the England manager should be. And he's not he gets 20 training sessions a year with these players. He's not teaching them anything new. He's literally just picking the people who he feels is right and who has the right personality and is making the squad seem the best. So you need someone who's either coming towards the end of their career or is just a completely different style of manager. And so there's no one I can see really on that list. I do like Graham Potter, though, really, for the next one.
Here's a question, though. Let's say Southgate does leave England. Do you think other countries would snap him up as a specialist international manager?
Saudi Arabia.
Well, they've just got Mancini, haven't they?
Oh,
Mancini resigns Italy job and takes a Saudi Arabia job 3 days later. I think they've now got... Who was a fella that was Napoli manager off the top of my head? Can't remember.
Oh, Spalletti.
Spalletti, correct. Yeah, he's now Italy manager. So the more I think about it, obviously after the last World Cup, I was very much Southgate out on the basis of new ideas. I felt like he'd done very well with his team and that another manager maybe could get another 5-10% out of them. But I struggle to see who. I really do. I almost now have gone full circle and say, let's see how we got on in these Euros. But I don't see him going beyond that. And I don't think he does either. A lot of the noises are that this will be the last one. I think the FA are making moves on that matter. I don't know what you think.
No, I don't really have a preference. And Southgate wouldn't have been anyone's first choice other than the FA's at the time. We were coming off a crazy run of different managers who've been successful at
It's after the
varying club
Allardyce,
levels.
wasn't it? It was after the Allardyce scandal he took over, didn't it?
Yeah, Allardyce came after Hodgson, and then it was Capello and all sorts of different stuff. Luke, if you got for the next one.
Oh no, I'm the same boat as Liam. There isn't any. I know the popular will probably say Mourinho, but do you really want Mourinho taking charge? I know he's good at winning kind of tournament football. He's kind of got the.
Do you want an English manager? Do you think it has to be?
And that was the kind of question. Do we look abroad again?
I'd prefer not to. I'm just going to stick it out there. I think your national team manager should be from that nation. I think it promotes pride and giving the players something that little bit extra. Like as I say, in that extra 5%, I don't think you get that from a foreign manager for whatever country that would be.
How close to the national stadium does he have to live?
Has to be a radius to St George's Park. There's got to be like no.
It can't be Welsh or Scottish or Irish.
No. Struggle to see an option, so we'll just have to see how we get on.
So go on, Luke. Sorry, mate.
So I'm just asking both your opinions. Do you think the last kind of critical games we've had, so the 3 last games in the tournaments, do you think he could have done things better? Like, so in the France game, do you think he was a bit conservative? And again, I suppose, what was the game? Was it Croatia?
Croatia's the other one.
Yeah. And Italy. Was he a bit I'll go a bit cautious and see if we can just scrape something. It seemed that way, especially the Italy one.
Yeah, the Italy one is the I think the core example of that. I think we'll do it in chronological order from my perspective. So Croatia game, I think the occasion got the better of them. And I think going 1-0 up and the emotion of that and the World Cup semi-final goal, I think they got leggy. I think they got tired. And he did actually make substitutions to try and change it. He did bring Vardy on. He did do certain things. But I think that the occasion got the better of them. Completely different story in the Italy game. I think England naturally took a step back after going 1-0 up. Probably almost in their mind trying to conserve energy and thinking that they might have a bit of a tactical game where I think the foot was on the throat of Italy at 1-0 after 5 minutes in what is essentially a home final. Like, we should have almost gone for the kill. So it wasn't necessarily a tactical thing on Southgate's part, other than maybe trying to get that message across that Italy were there for the taking. England were the better team, the better side. They'd gone 1-0 up and they were there for the taking. The France game is different because France are better than England on paper. So I think England went quite toe-to-toe. And I think if, bless him, Harry Kane puts that penalty in, it could have been a very different set of events. I think England competed well in a game that theoretically anyone can lose. So that's my view, Martin. I know you wanted to know both of them. What do you think?
Totally agree. Yeah, exactly the same. Croatia, we looked leggy. We'd give everything in the quarter final. Was that Colombia?
No.
Yeah.
Second round Colombia. Quarter final was Sweden, wasn't it? Was it Sweden?
No, I thought Colombia was when we beat them at penalties.
Yeah, it was. I think that was second round.
Right.
So it was Colombia, Sweden, because everyone would talk about the easy run, wouldn't they? So Sweden was, a World Cup quarterfinal against Sweden. Fucking hell. Yeah. So we battered Sweden, and then
we did
the semi against Croatia.
That was it. Yeah, we did look leggy then. It's a long time ago, but I do agree with you. Italy, unlucky, a bit pragmatic, a bit unambitious, you could say, but maybe we played.
Tactically, that's the one I think.
Yeah,
it could have made a difference, but it was so early. It was
especially going up 1-0 so early. Yeah, I think you got to treat that as 0-0 and keep going. But it's easy to say now. And then the last France. Yeah, I agree. We at times we were the better team, and at times they were the better team, and pushed on. And it was just one of them. I think you couldn't split the bookies at the time. It was either or, and I think probably just about on the night the better team went through, and You just got to put it down to that. There's again, look at the draw. Sometimes you get to the semi-finals on a piece of piss run, and other times you got France in the next round, and that's it.
I think it's just I probably have my United hat on again with the France game. I think Rashford deserves that slot. He obviously scored the 2 goals beforehand, and then he was out of the squad, and then he was brought into the last 20 minutes to try and save something. Again, it's probably just my bias towards United and Rashford, but yeah.
Sterling was a very important player for England in that tournament and the tournament before. Probably crucial to Sterling's plans. But look, while we're talking about Rashford for England, the guy never turns up. So that will affect Southgate's perception and trust of him.
Oh.
His injury record and missing international friendlies or Nation League games is awful, isn't it? But we've watched it before, haven't we?
Yeah, it doesn't show him in good light. It's something that's clearly up for debate, and probably something that rests on Southgate's mind every time he picks a squad. Does he think Rashford's going to pull out on him, and does he just have the next in line ready anyway, regardless of form going into it?
Do you think though that could be club influence? They could be saying, "Look, do you really need to be playing these games? You're our main man for United. If you get injured, we're screwed."
I imagine every club does that, but it's whether Rashford has it about him to say.
Why would you want to play an international game against San Marino?
Do you not want to play for England?
He's got plenty of caps.
Let me.
If you ask Eddie Nketiah that now, he'll snap your hand off.
Eddie Nketiah is about to make his debut for England away at Scotland, and we're calling that a friendly, and then it doesn't matter. That's England versus Scotland. That won't be a friendly on Tuesday. I imagine that every international, every club manager that's involved with that absolutely despises the fact this game's on, because in one hand it is meaningless, on the other hand it is massive because it's England versus Scotland, and it will be massive, and it'll be competitive, and it'll mean everything to Scotland, and it'll mean everything to England when they walk on the pitch. So it's a massive game, and it's a great game for Nketiah to make his England debut.
Well, can I just jump on that then, Liam? I think there's a real problem. Again, you've chose a good team there with Scotland. There's always going to be that home nations rivalry. But again, going back to like Malta, San Marino, North Macedonia, are these games like? Do we really need to be playing? Is there not something out there where they can be play amongst themselves, and I guess, and then they are whoever the winning
qualifier.
Yeah, the best of them can make it then.
Like a North Macedonia, for example.
I suppose.
Who knocked out Italy?
Who knocked out Italy and qualified for the World Cup.
All right. We'll pick a small team then, like San Marino. Then, do you think San Marino want to get drummed 10-0 every time?
Yeah, they do, because they get an equal split of the TV money for the Euros, and football. That's how football develops in these countries. This is where the Nations League's been very good, but I don't want to take us down an area that we don't want to. It's been brilliant for these kind of countries, and you got like Kazakhstan really competing with Denmark and Finland for qualification. Finland, who've only been in one major tournament before, Kazakhstan and none. One of those is going to qualify for the Euros. They've essentially drummed Northern Ireland into submission. You're getting these types of countries that are really kicking on, and it comes from the money that comes from these qualification games. So from an England sort of elitist, exceptionalist position of, are San Marino worth our time? Well, again, I get that. I do get that opinion. However, like, football is a global game, and it should be accessible even for these Andorras, for San Marinos, for Luxembourgs. Like, it means as much to them as it does England. So, yeah, they should play them.
Yeah, I do sit on that side of the fence for this one. I think you can't take away that the chance of the greatest upset of someone's history. And I don't know you can come up with a way of excluding them and killing that without killing that side of the game, which is what you're gonna do.
It'd be a preliminary tournament, but like what
again, one of them's going to qualify, and then you say we don't care about that person who's qualified because they've qualified against other idiots. And sorry to all the San Marino fans listening, but I use that term loosely. Just teams lower down the rankings, not idiots. So as well as them lower ranked teams, we've got international friendlies. The Scotland game being the next one. and then we don't have too many now, do we? Because of the Nations League and stuff. Luke? What are your thoughts on these? Does this fall into the same bracket? Totally pointless.
Yeah. Sorry, boys. I disagree with you. I'm on this other side of the fence. I just think it's pointless, and I think if you ask the average bloke on the street, they're just like, "Oh, England were playing it. Did you watch it?" Nah, because they're just nothing games. I think obviously because it's Fixing Football podcast, so trying to put up solutions. Maybe we should group all the qualifying. So there's 8 qualifying games. Group 4 of them together, and then 4 4 beginning of the season, or in the summer, and then 4 halfway through the season. So then it looks like it's essentially like a bit of a mini tournament halfway through,
like a big break, like a 3-week break or something.
Exactly, but then you're stopping this momentum you're getting with. Just was it 2 games now? With 4 games into the Premier League season, maybe it should that momentum that teams are getting and trying to build up. You're stopping that, and then you have to come back, and that's what I would kind of propose as a solution: as put the four together and four towards the end or the middle, and play them that way.
I agree with that. I like that as a fix because this international break in particular is, in my opinion, the most annoying one. You're just getting going. We're 4 games in, we're 6 games in the EFL, and that's taking a break as well. It's an absolute piss take just to kill this part of the season for 2 weeks. Liam?
Oh, all UEFA should bow to the Premier League. These Premier League teams were just getting into the season, just getting a bit of momentum.
Everyone's getting in. Who's not getting in? Who's not getting in?
I don't see the issue with this international break. I think that if you ask the clubs in the Premier League, they like it as well. I would wager. Just throwing it out there. I reckon most would say, because it gives them time to take stock. I reckon most, I don't know this, but if I was a club manager, I would look at the way that these things are set up and go, right, that's a segment of the league there. This date to this date, and we can take stock after. We get 2 weeks. Most teams will have X amount of internationals, won't be the full squad, and we can work on things to get these things done. So I think it provides them with the opportunity to look at things that aren't working if they take advantage of that fact. I also think when we're talking about the Nations League being nothings games, I've got 2 parts to that. So firstly, what would you do instead of the Nations League?
I like the Nations League. I'm not. I'm more siding with getting rid of friendlies altogether because I don't think we need them.
There is very few.
Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. I don't know how many a year we have. Maybe 2.
Yeah. No, the Nations League's been a great success away from the top table. It's created a lot more competitive teams getting used to playing against each other. So that thing that you talked about earlier, Luke, do San Marino want to get beat 10-0 every week? They don't now. Because when they play in the Nations League, they're playing against Liechtenstein. Well, maybe not. Liechtenstein, they're slightly better. Luxembourg, Andorra, Gibraltar. These teams are now playing each other in competitive games. So you've got that side of things. You've got real competitiveness about rankings, which matter to teams that aren't England. So, for example, Ireland's ranking has slipped quite dramatically, which has meant that they're in essentially a group of death this time to qualify. Ireland should qualify for the Euros, but essentially, from the moment the draw was made, they almost had no chance. Because the draw with France, Netherlands, and Greece also fighting for 2 spots meant that they were essentially pissing in the wind from day one. So there's a reward for doing well on it. Scotland have risen through the rankings by being very strong in the Nations League, qualified for the Euros off the back of a playoff position they got from doing it. And then they've also now in a position where they've won 5 out of 5 in their group because of the momentum that's given them. So from an England perspective, who, by the way, got relegated in the Nations League, and the last time they played it, they were battered at home by Hungary, well, even though the Nations League is below them. So for England, I get it. Like, it might not feel like it's the best thing in the world. It has made a real big positive effect across Europe.
So what are the pros, then, of like playing these teams for us? If you're trying to make an argument for and against this sort of thing, what would you say so the lower ranked teams in these sort of...
There's not much. I'm not going to sit here and say that loads of people get a lot out of England battering Andorra 7-0. It's not. But when you talk about international football, you can't start saying that countries have more importance than other.
Yeah.
In FIFA and UEFA, everyone has one vote. That's how it's done. So England aren't more important than Andorra. So
I agree.
they'll be given the equal opportunity to qualify. So yeah, I get it. You're right. There's not many pros, but sometimes that's just how things go. Luke?
Just from a selfish point of view, then, from a selfish kind of
This is unlike you.
England fan, the interest is not there to watch these games, though, is it? And that's why I kind of say, played them 4 games halfway through the season and then 4 at the end. The interest there'd be that buzz watching the games. People can't be bothered watching it. You speak to them and they're just like, "Oh, I didn't really watch it."
I think you're making assumptions there. I'd be quite interested to see what the viewing figures were last night. Decent kickoff time.
Me for one, I will always watch England, especially in a competitive match, regardless of the opponent. That's not somewhere I sit, and I do think that the lower ranked team should be given the same opportunity as everyone else. Everyone starts on 0, and we should take it from there. But I do like the idea of splitting this scheduling up so we can chunk a lot of it together. I think that's a good fix. So at the moment,
and just on that, Neil, I think when you mentioned before about Southgate not having the team that long, he basically has them for a game or 2 games, and then they'll
get them longer. Yeah, you get them longer. Yeah.
And that's where you could have and I know if we're changing managers, that's where you'll see that benefit.
Right. So let's move on. I want to take it right back to Southgate now. You've mentioned him again. Liam, will England win the Euros under Southgate? Will we win a tournament under Southgate, considering this is his last one?
I don't think they have anyone to fear. I think they very much can win it. If you're asking me to stick my neck out on the line, I'd say it's 50-50 between England and France. I don't think Spain have improved a lot, but they may not qualify the way they've gone with with the way they've been in the qualification. They were getting miles better, and then they've sort of dropped off. I don't see much threat elsewhere.
Germany's stinking the place out, and they're going to be hosting. So
yeah,
I don't see any other threats. That it's England and France is to lose. I think
only one can win it though, and this is the thing when it comes to international tournaments. So every 2 years, there's no FA Cups in international football. Only one team can win it.
What about Belgium? Or is that golden squad gone now?
They're gone. I don't see what Belgium have got left to offer. I think the main spine of the squad was resting on extremely talented Eden Hazard, who's fallen off a cliff. De Bruyne is in and out of form for Belgium. They had a decent back line, but that seems to have fallen away with age as well. So they're not someone who I'd go into a match fearing. Liam, anyone else who we should be thinking about? Portugal? Any of the Scandinavians?
No one really springs to mind, to be honest. I think Denmark will be competitive.
Croatia, aging again.
They may actually get tired this time. So no, not really. I've just been naming people for the sake of it now.
Yeah, no, we have. It's England's and France to lose, I think, and you're right. It's a toss of a coin, and it's all depending on. I would say it's probably all depending on the draw, and see how all that unfolds. Whether we end up playing them early or no, it does make it to an England-France final. I think we can pretty much leave it there, boys. We've got everything. So we've got a fix, Luke, this week. I think me and you have come up with a great solution, regardless of Liam standing on the side of Europe versus England on this. But I do like the idea of chunking everything together into 2 or even 3 big segments. But however you could split it up, it'd be more beneficial for the international managers, and it could, build engagement for them lesser matches, as you would put it. Thanks a lot, boys. We will catch up next week. Next week we're promising to focus on Man United. We have got everything covered there. I've got Brighton at home coming up, and for the benefit of the podcast, we all hope they lose, so that will make things pile up more on Ten Hag. Luke, is that what we're saying? A United loss would make the podcast much better. Do you agree?
I disagree completely.
Can I ask one warm-up Man United question, just to give Luke a flavour of what it's going to be?
Just what's coming. Let him know what's coming.
Luke, can you name one thing that Ten Hag's made better while he's been at Man United?
This is a one-word answer, Luke.
Yeah, we've won a trophy.
Mourinho's doing that.
Right. But I want to end it there. Thanks very much, everyone, for listening. You can catch all our links at www.fixingfootballpodcast.com. Please join and subscribe and like and share and follow and all that other good stuff. Like I've said before, it doesn't cost you anything, but it really does mean the world to us and makes a load of difference. It can help us grow, and we're really enjoying doing this. Thank you all for listening, and we'll catch you all next week. See you later, boys.
See you, lads.
See you later.